What's going on, YouTubers? It's the Natural Born Thriller, and welcome everyone to Impact Wrestling Review, the show from August 4th, 2020. I had a little brain fart there. Um, your commentators were Josh Matthews and Madison Rain. So let's not waste any time, folks. Let's get right into this Impact Wrestling Review. The show opened up first with EC3, sort of. Rotation coming in the promo, and basically it was like basically a video. He was somewhere. Um, it was kind of promo, and it was pretty good. Not much to say about that. So let me jump into the show. We get Heath, the former Heath Slater, now going by Heath, just Heath, versus Moose for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. In the match, I thought it was pretty good. Heath looked good. Moose looked good. In the end, it was Moose getting the win after cheating to win the match. Yes, Moose had to cheat to win against Heath. Basically breaking the eye. I'm sorry, not breaking the eye. Go from a low blow by referee was down by the way, and then rolls him up, had a handful of his tights, and got the win. Moose, your winner, and still the TNA World Champion. Excuse me. Impact Wrestling is promoting their the it's not a pay-per-view. It's one of those what's it called again, the special event free per-view something, and it's gonna be called Impact Emergence. Yeah, Impact Emergence, and it'll be taking place next week. Actually, I just need to get to this week's Impact Wrestling, which is gonna be later on because as of this recording, this will be up before we get to watch Impact Wrestling tonight, and this week will be the final week until we get to next week for Impact Emergence, and here's what's happening basically here. So Deonna Purrazzo will be defending her Impact Knockouts Championship in a rematch against Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace will get a rematch, and then yeah, that's not until later. Rotates to Kimberly because it does tie into rotates to Kimberly later on. On this week's edition of Impact Wrestling, which we'll get. I'll get to that later. But we get William Mack. He was asked about Rich Swann's announcement. He returns to his update after what happened to him after what happened to him at Summerversary, excuse me. So Max says that Swann has kept this information very, very close to his chest. He's not really sure. He's thinking on it might have to go down, has something to do with Ergion, to say, excuse me. And basically, really Mac has a little bit to say about Ergion, and yeah, that's basically it. So there's nothing to say about that. Then we get EC3. But yeah, basically more of EC3. He talks about some of the greats in TNA. He says he once had his moment, but since then he's been punished by the fans, by a corporation, and even himself. To find your propose, you must control your narrative. EC3 talks about the TNA World Heavyweight Championship and says that he is back to reclaim it. It's going to be a match build up between EC3 and Moose. It's going to be at an Impact Battle for Glory, or will it be for next week's show, which is going to be Emergence. Sorry, folks. It's not caught my eye. Yeah, so will it happen either Battle for Glory or Emergence? We'll have to wait and see. So, but basically, EC3 tells Moose that he has been warned, and that was it. Then we get to Jimmy Jacobs. interviewing the Impact World Tag Team Champions, the Motor City Machine Guns, Chris Sabian and Alex Shelley. So this is what we're waiting for. And basically, Sabian and Shelley are asked of why they came back to Impact Wrestling. Shelley says he and Sabian haven't put basically they put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in wrestling, which they have. He felt like they needed to challenge themselves by returning to the company. They were last, in Impact Wrestling in 2012, and Shelley says after that, they went their separate ways, but was really proud of what he and Sabian both did. Shelley talked about Chris Sabian, come back from serious injuries and was able to get back in the ring. And then Sabian jumped in and said they continued to train and they realized maybe they needed to team up again. The duo then runs down on the top tag teams in the division, including the North, who just happened to at this point coming out to interrupt. And as they came out, Alex Shelley, not Alex Shelley, Josh Alexander feels like that Sabian and Shelley are getting these treatments, not only getting to talk in the ring, unlike the North, were champions and they never got to talk about their winning a year ago to win the tag belts and everything, but also getting a title shot right when they came back. He mentions that the champs did beat the North, and then all of a sudden, Ethan Page cuts in and freaks out. He basically cuts a promo, freaking out, saying, the mostly machine guns got them at 40%, and they wouldn't even won the tag belts against the North was when they were 100%. If they were 100%. So Alex Shelley said that the North shouldn't be bothered with and they learned a lesson, and they weren't going to take the titles to grave them. And then he says that they can have their rematch whenever they want. So however they want it and all that. So then Pace says, no way to that. Alex and folks. Josh Alexander then says that they will meet them their own time and happen at Emergence. Sorry about I was about to sneeze. Also, Alex Shelley says something about I think Josh Alexander is a ripoff Rick Steiner, and can't remember what he said about Ethan Page. I can't remember what he said. I can't remember. I can't remember from the life of me now. But it's not here or there. So yeah, another match that's gonna be added for Emergence, Knockouts Championship and the Tag Team Championships. So there you go. It was good, by the way, the exchange between Motor Machine Guns and the North. Then we get to the dressing room where Kimberly walks in and Deonna Purrazzo is there, and Kimberly says if Purrazzo doesn't take Grace seriously, she's going to lose the title at Emergence. So she offers a deal. If she could beat Grace, then she wants a shot of Deonna Purrazzo. Whenever that happens. And then Deonna Purrazzo said deal, and that was it. So there you go, folks. Rotates this whole build up between Deonna Purrazzo and Jordynne Grace. Kimberly jumped in and she basically told Deonna Purrazzo what's up and everything. So there you go. No, what to say about that. But yeah, I gotta say this: if Kimberly does win, I think what they should do, and I don't think they should, but if Kimberly should win against Jordynne Grace, add her into the match and make it a three-way. I don't know. I kind of find it funny now that Kimberly. Well, actually, I'll get to her later. Yeah. She ends up being shown later on too, which I'll get to. I'll get to that later. Because now we get to. One moment. Wrestle House. Yes, the return of Wrestle House, which I was looking forward to. So, Taya was getting most of the the group together around the living room, and talking about being trapped in the house with a bunch of people with bad hygiene, basically. Johnny Bravo then had his hands out, it showed basically his personal grooming kit and everything. Kylie Ray also she doesn't mean to be often, but offend I meant to say, but wonder when they're gonna go back to the Impact Zone because she's the number one contender. More chance to be in knockouts. To got the knockouts championship title whenever she as soon as she can, because and hey, she's making sense here. Because I was thinking the same thing too. Like, wait a minute, you're having her doing this whole Wrestle House thing, where meanwhile she's the normal contender. But at the same time, I understand why, because Jordan Grace still needs that rematch clause against Deonna Purrazzo. So, but at the same time, you have Kylie Ray involved of Wrestle House when she's supposed to be in line for an opportunity for the Knockouts Championship title. It just feels weird the way that was done. But hey, the Ace that has a continuity here, but Kylie Ray mentioned it. So then also Alicia Edwards, who's married to Eddie Edwards. Just want to point that out. And you're wondering why I mentioned that. Well, she tries to give Susie. I was gonna say Sue Young, but no, it's Susie. Some relationship advice where it tends to seducing a man. So you're telling me, I don't know, someone who's married to Eddie Edwards telling Susie how to seduce a man. Is that how you got Eddie Edwards? Oh my god, it was. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't know what was that all about. But also, Johnny Swinger starts to butt in and gets told off basically. And Johnny Swinger says, he could handle both of them. Also, Tommy Dreamer comes out of nowhere and basically makes a match, and we get a match between Johnny Swinger versus Susie and Alicia Edwards. Why am I messing her name up? And I forgot who's the referee. I think the referee was Cody Deaner. So the match happens. Johnny Swinger was flexing, and then he was asking for a kiss, and then he gets beaten up by them. And Johnny Swinger got a wishbone, and he's like, "Yeah, that's what stretched me." I was laughing because of that. Basically, it was a quick match, and Susie and Alicia Edwards wins. Alicia, I meant to say Alicia Edwards. Now I have problems. I'm saying her name now. And that was it. That was it for that match at Wrestle House. And then we get back to Wrestle House, and Kylie Ray is talking to Johnny Bravo. She wants to officially introduce herself to Johnny Bravo, and Johnny Bravo says, "Really?" He's really busy. I meant to say, and she says that she wants to talk to him and Rosemary. Yeah, basically talk to him about Rosemary and himself. Says apparently that they can't leave until Bravo gets hit. She wants to get back to the Impact Zone and everything, and Bravo says that he gets it and knows that Rosemary wants him and everything, blah blah blah, and all that. So, and that will continue on later on. So, flashback moment of the week for Impact Wrestling Plus, meant to say, Sami Callihan defeating Brian Cage to win the title, from on TV of Impact Wrestling a while back, which it was short to the point, and I'm glad to do that because that's a best way to plug, that's the best way to plug. Maybe now show myself again, and that's the best way to plug Impact Plus by showing a small clip of it instead of showing the entirety of it. The entire wrestling show. The entire wrestling match of it. Meant to say. So there you go. We go to the parking lot. We see the Good Brothers, Machine Gun Carl Anderson and Big L, Doc Gallows. They're heading to their truck. All of a sudden, they notice the trucks are open. The car door, the car door of the truck is open. There are empty cans of beers, and we see cops coming by, and they basically explain to them that it was like this when they arrived and everything. And then Ace Austin shows up, and causing trouble. Man Fulton attack goes to attack, but then gets elbowed. Basically, Doc Gallows was elbowing away and everything, and hit one of the officer, and that led to Doc Gallows to be arrested. And as they're arresting him, I immediately said, "You're under arrest for helping Eddie Edwards at Summerversary." So, and to get back on. Well, actually, no, I shouldn't. I'll save that for later on. But yeah, so Anderson is trying to talk to police outfits and and everything to avoid it, but no avail. And we'll get to more about what happened to Carl Anderson later on, which is Ace Austin and Matt Fulton. Because we get to a more flashback moment of the week of Impact Plus, and it showed beer money on the winning the tag belts back in 2008 against LAX. And I said to myself, we've seen that already about what, a week ago or two, and they're showing it again. We get more coming soon via vignettes of Brian Myers coming pretty soon, the former Kurt Hawkins, and he says something about trust the profess. Trying to see something here. Sorry, folks. Okay. So then we get to Eddie Edwards. Working to his open challenge for his Impact World title match against anyone that will accept this challenge. Also, we hear Sami Callihan's music, I See You. Also, we see RVD, who sees Sami Callihan. Though it was done, I'm like, wow. Well, that mistake was done. It's done now with Sami Callihan. So yeah, Sami Callihan got beat up by RVD, and also Katie Force came out, started twerking and everything, and they started beating up on Sami Callihan along with RVD, and then they left. And Sami Callihan ends again, walking to the ring, and because it wasn't that bad of a beatdown anyway. So, but I find it funny that RVD knew that Sami Callihan was going to be the one to accept the challenge against Eddie Edwards, because it could have been anyone who could accept the challenge against Eddie Edwards, and then I guess using his knowledge, whatever, RVD knew Sami Callihan was going to accept the challenge, and then he came out there. That made it kind of made no sense there when you really think about that. Just like the whole thing that Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows coming out to save Eddie Edwards from Summerversary made no sense either, because they didn't even do a follow up after that. So we get the match happening, and I didn't care about the match because as soon as yes, it was a good match. For some people that seen the match, it was I'm pretty sure it was a good match, but I don't care. I don't care about Eddie Edwards' looks. I don't care about Eddie Edwards' persona. I don't care about Eddie Edwards' character. I don't care about Eddie Edwards' gimmick. his gimmick and everything that he's portraying right now, and he's presenting himself sucks. I can't get into it anymore. So I was waiting for that Boston knee part coming out of nowhere, and that's exactly what happened. It was wins. I don't care. And the one that pissed me off the most here is that after when AOS became the world champion back at Summerversary, and he's getting beaten down by Ace Austin and Madman Fulton, and then all of a sudden we get the Good Brothers coming out, and then they help out Eddie Edwards, and they're forming together like they're going to be a faction, whatever. And then afterwards, what happened after that? They completely all separated them. Good Brothers went this way, and Eddie Edwards went that way, and before, they want, and basically the whole thing that they did was just a one-off thing, and they're just going to move on from that. Why? Why even do it? What was the point even doing that in the first place? It made no sense when you had them, looking like they're bullying buddies, and then on the next episode, next show for Impact Wrestling, now all of a sudden they're on they pretend that never happened. Back to Wrestle House. Eddie Edwards now sucks. Now back to Wrestle House. Something that I actually care about on the show was Wrestle House, because in Wrestle House, Kylie Ray was talking to Johnny Bravo, like before, to see if he's okay as he leaves the house with his luggage. Also, Rosemary and Taya are looking for Bravo. They run into Kylie Ray. Basically, they ran into a couple people too, and it was funny the way it was done too. And they ask where he went, and Kylie Ray tells them that he left. He needed to leave, and then Rosemary gets mad, and then calls Tommy Dreamer for to announce a match between Rosemary and Kylie Ray. And Tyra Barker was a referee. And by the way, I called that Tyra Barker was going to be the referee as soon as this match was going to be made. I'm like, okay, Tyra Barker probably going to be the referee, and I was right. She was a referee, and she was basically being a crooked referee to side along with Rosemary to try to screw over Kylie Ray. But in the end, it didn't work because also Johnny Bravo shows back up, and Rosemary was mesmerized on Johnny Bravo. And all of a sudden, that was enough for Kylie Ray to take full advantage of Rosemary, and Ty Barker will be going for her slowest count ever for to Kylie Ray, and she did that on the time match too. But when it pertains to Rosemary, she went for a quick count, but then Kylie Ray knew what was going on right there, and kicked out immediately. But in the end, it was Kylie Ray winning the match, and then after the match, Johnny Bravo gets in the ring to help talk to Rosemary and everything, and then says that Taya is his best is his Ty. Bravo says Taya is her his best friend, and it has done a lot for him. And it says that if Taya ever finds out about them, she will not be happy about that. And Rosemary says maybe she doesn't have to know about the both of them. And also Taya, basically Ty Barker was celebrating after the match was over and everything. And I said, so why you celebrate? You didn't win the match, and on top of that, your partner didn't win the match either. So why you? She was, I don't know. Maybe she was happy about something. And all of a sudden, she then takes Bravo by the ear, said where you been, everything, blah blah blah, and that was it. And then Rosemary, and then they cut to Rosemary talking to the camera, in the other room, as long as it takes, and then she starts smiling, and then that was it. And that was it, basically. I think that was basically it for the Wrestle House. I'm assuming. Yes, yeah, so actually it was, yes. And like that, I miss Wrestle House already. Okay, I'm gonna get back to you. And yes, Eddie Edwards still sucks. Just want to put that out there again. So, anyways, we see Carl Anderson. He's going to help out his bro. Not really his bro, but but they're like bros too, by the way, because everything they've been through together. And all of a sudden, Ace Austin runs into Carl Anderson, basically talking some shit to him. Carl Anderson takes offense of that, and all of a sudden, Matt Fulton jumps in, basically a beatdown on Carl Anderson, and that was it. That was the end of that, and there you go. I'm not liking this food. Food. No. I am not liking this feud, folks. This feud between the Good Brothers versus Ace Austin and Matt Fulton. I hate it. I think it sucks. I think it's garbage. It doesn't appeal to me at all whatsoever. And I think myself, this is the best you got for the Good Brothers. Now we're saying to the Good Brothers and Edwards being teamed up. I didn't think that was a good idea either. But at least they it was a one off thing they did at some anniversary. But at the same time, why even do it in the first place if you're not gonna make a good story out of it? And this is your best solution right now. Good Brothers go up against Ace Austin and Matt Fulton. Nothing against Matt Fulton and Ace Austin, but still, the story they're doing here sucks. And I'm not into it. I'm not invested into it. I don't care about this feud. Am I going to care about the match? Maybe the match might be good. But what's it going to mean at the end of the day? It means you wasted my time, you wasted these guys' time, because you could have given them a better storyline, a better booking, a better position of what you could have been doing with them. But say you're doing this shit. Miguel Hernandez, he needs help getting his money back, and he wants Scum to help him. Even though he lost the money for his square, but Chris Bay and Rick Raju team up against TJP and Falaba. Was a good tag team match with TJP and Falaba winning. Then we get to Rich Swann, who was very serious backstage, and he has his crutch. He's getting ready to head to the ring to make his announcement. And here it is. So Rich Swann is in the ring with his crutches, and he's got a cast on his foot because of after what Eric Young did. And we see a video clip of it too, by the way, where it tends to Rich Swann pinning Eric Young at Summerversary, basically to eliminate him from the match. And then Eric Young did what he did because he's a world class maniac. And Rich Swann had to deal with this injury for Wrestle 2020. And obviously, when it first happened, it was because of that motherfucker Dave Christ, and he didn't even apologize for it. But in this one, kayfabe, Eric Young basically took that away from him. Basically took that away from him. Or chance to Rich Swann begins his in-ring return to 2020. And now, by the looks of it, it could be the end of his career. So Rich Swann gets on the mic and says, hard work, dedication, love, and support, he was able to become a pro wrestler. He continues that he was able to look at the doubters and live his dream. Talks about his dissension. His disdain injury that happened earlier this year, and he went to the doctor, and he told Rich Swann that he probably walk with a limp for the rest of his life. Rich Swann said he went home and busted his ass, and as he could to prove that doctor wrong. As months went by, Swann said that he could see himself getting stronger, and he came back to the doctor and got an MRI and said that maybe he was wrong. Swann was ready to go. Swann then talked about being ready to claim the empty spot for the vacant world title. He pinned Eric Young. He and he was ready to continue on the match, but jealousy and hatred got the best of Eric Young, and after the attack, he's right back on where he was. And this time, the doctor says if Swann gets back in the ring, his life could change. He won't live a normal life, and he if he continues wrestling, let's say. And after I was watching this promo, folks, I was listening to the promo. I was my focus was on the screen, listening to Rich Swann of his promo, and the way he engaged viewers like me, it felt real. You felt like you believed what he was saying. That's how good that's how good Rich Swann is. So he continues to that he has to think about his family and his future. So he's going to retire. Or should I say he's going to retire. So Rich Swann says thank you, who supported him, and all the wrestlers starts coming out. Guys like Eddie Edwards, the Rascals, Kimberly. I'll get to more of her. Bob, TJP. Can't remember who else was there. Obviously, Willie Mack. I mean, why would he be out there? Rich Swann is his best friend. Can't remember who else came out there. But yeah, they came out. They were we also had a couple of officials too, by the way, and I think Jimmy Jacobs was there too. Jimmy Jacobs. Oh yeah, Motion Machine Guns. They were there too, and they're clapping. They're pounding the ring and everything. So yeah, this felt real. Not with the wrestlers, but with Rich Swann. With Rich Swann, the promo and the Rich Swann showing his emotions, of his acting, it felt real. You believe that Rich Swann was going to retire. But me being a smart wrestling fan, I knew that that was going to be the case, which I'll get to. And I think this is Rich Swann saying this. It's been a good 15 years. I hope I made a lasting impact on not only in the company but in the industry. Okay, I think that was fun. And he leaves the ring, crutches and everything. He gets on the stage, and right there I knew, okay, where's Eric Young now? Where's Eric Young? So Eric Young attacks him, and Eric Young gets the crutch and bam, hits him from the cast of his leg. He runs away. But at that point, the wrestlers out on that try to get there, like Eddie Edwards, Willie Mack, they were too late. Kimberly, rushed too, and I say to myself, ain't Kimberly supposed to be a heel? Ain't she supposed to be a heel? And she's worried about what happened with Rich Swann. I'm not trying to say she's evil, and Rich Swann got what he deserves and everything, but that's the trade. Ain't she supposed to be a heel? Basically, because all we seen out there was baby faces, and minor the referees and whoever else was there, but Kimberly's supposed to be a heel, and she's out there and concerned about her a baby face and Rich Swann. I don't know. It's kind of feel weird to me when I saw that. But yeah, Eric Young, he's a marked man. I mean, he's been a marked man before in TNA. But that was TNA. Now this is Impact Wrestling, and what he did to Rich Swann there, he's a marked man. He's got a target on his back, and we might go after him. And at one point, Eddie Edwards is going after him. Hell, you may have the Rascals go after him. So Eric Young, he did he he did something very disrespectful here. But yeah, but do I buy that Rich Swann's going to be retiring? No, obviously not. It was all an angle just to build up on the an potential feud between Rich Swann and Eric Young. That's probably going to be safe for Bound for Glory. And if that's the case, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for that match. I cannot wait to see how they build it up to, and I cannot wait to see how Rich Swann returns. Even though we're supposed to buy supposed to buy in that he's not going to be returning, but I believe he is returning. And this one thing with him being injured, he's not really injured. It's kayfabe. So, but hey, this segment did a good job. I did it way over the top with the wrestlers coming out there. I mean, they do it before. They've done it before, but not to this type of level. But yeah, if they try to convince people, some people may be convinced of it. It won't surprise me if some people on Dick that were convinced that wasn't for Rich Swann. But after seeing that, people I think people are smart enough now that that was all work. That they worked us, but it was good. I thought it was a good job they did that. So we might probably go get him first, and then someone from the Rascals maybe, and then it's gonna lead to Eric Young versus Eddie Edwards, and that's when probably Rich Swann's gonna come out and cause Eric Young the match. That way we could keep boring Eddie Edwards to be the Impact World Champion again. So I see that happening, and we'll see how they do. We'll see how that builds up too. So, and that was Impact Wrestling. I believe there was 5 matches here. Yes, Total Wrestling was 5 matches for Impact Wrestling, the show from August 4th, 2020. My version of the show, I'm going to go with an 8.5 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10 I'll go with. And that being said, thank you for watching for Is Natural Born Thriller, saying peace on the streets. This was your Impact Wrestling review, the show from August 4th, 2020. Until next time, folks, which later on will be Impact Wrestling on Twitch TV and on Access TV. For those who watch it on Access TV, there you go. But for those who watch it on Twitch TV, there you go. But that'll be later on. And this episode, this review, I meant to say itself, will be uploaded before tonight's Impact Wrestling. So hopefully, you take a look at this review as you do, and yeah, there you go. But until next time, you'll stay well, stay safe, take care of yourself, everything that's going on in the world. Wear your mask. God bless. And I'm out here. Ta-ta for now. And I cannot wait for later on for Wrestle House. Because Wrestle House is the best thing that's going on right now in Impact Wrestling. Because Eddie Edwards sucks.